vlog. Yay! So for today's vlog, I'm gonna talk about the things I did before the board examination and tips on how to study effectively. Let's get it! But before that, I'll just share a little bit of background about myself. So I graduated BS in Pharmacy from the University of San Carlos, and I took the board examination on that same year, which was on August 2019. And thankfully, I passed the board exam with flying colors, char. Currently, I am a second-year medical student from the Cebu Institute of Medicine. So basically, our pharmacy classes officially ended on March 2019. So we had about 4 months to prepare since the board examination was held on August 3 and 4. So for the first tip, know what to study. So the Pharmacist Licensure Examination is composed of 6 modules, right? First, you should know what to study for every module since, of course, we cannot study everything, diba? So we just choose what important things to learn and what we think will come out on the examination. Kay mabuang ta if tanan, diba? Anyways, I'll show here the list of subjects included per module for those who don't know yet. The board exam has a broad coverage, so many students will ask what and where to study. Disclaimer lang ha, what I will discuss here is purely subjective based from my experience, so it might work for you or not depending on your way of learning. I'm just sharing this to somewhat give you a little bit of overview on what you should do prior to the board exams. Okay, so personally, I had my review on Manor, the Cebu Review Center, right after classes ended. So again, I had about 4 months to prepare. So we had to go to the review center every day, including Sunday, imagine. But thankfully, our classes were only half days, so we had time to study in the afternoon and of course, tulaan with friends. For me, my schedule was in the morning, so my study time is in the afternoon. What I did personally is during classes, I listened attentively to what the teachers will discuss, especially important highlights. They say like mga mnemonics, and I also write notes during that time. I actually don't really like writing notes, but back then, during our review days, it was really helpful for me, so I suggest you write your own notes as well. So after every classes, I study what was discussed in the morning. I read it twice or thrice, or you can do it many times because for me, I really don't like memorization. So my motto when I study is repetition is key. Yes, you just repeat and repeat until you understood, and of course, familiarize what you are reading, because I think for most students, we sometimes just read it for the sake of finishing it, but not really understanding by heart what was read. So focus and understanding are really important when studying. So of course, our first distraction is what? Diba? Cell phone. So we need to put that away, especially when studying. I wouldn't say I don't get distracted by it when studying, because I really do many times, but I limit my usage, especially during review days. So for all modules, what I studied are all the things Manor Review Center taught us, specifically for modules 1 and 6. If the board of examiners are still the same as last year, take note to study PACOP reviewers, especially the one Manor will give to you, because I think there were about 20 items or more that were repeated in our board exam for modules 1 and 6. For modules 3 and 4, you can also read PACOP if you have time, but for me, I only read my notes that I took during review days, since for these 2 modules, questions are somewhat basic, and I think as pharmacy graduates, topics under these modules should be remembered by heart. So it would surely be easy for you guys to answer these 2 modules. Last but not the least, for modules 2 and 5, I don't really have an advice to give for these 2 modules. Kay lisod jud siya. Umbot lang if naay na sayunan. Again, I just read my Manor notes. I knew that these 2 modules will be difficult, but still, I did not read any additional references because we only had 4 months to review, right? But for you guys, if you have a lot of time, I suggest you to read other sources, importantly, biochemistry, pharmacognosy, and manufacturing topics, because the examiner for these 2 modules is quite unpredictable and her questions are really out of this world. And worse, it is in Morse type. In addition, we had 2 weeks of break right before the exam, so I read all my notes again twice or thrice, and I also read PACOP reviewers. Next, tip number 2. Manage your time well. Make a schedule plan when you study and abide to it faithfully. Faithfully, guys. It is important for us students to have self-discipline when it comes to studying, because we don't want to cram for our boards, right? So, I shared to you guys a while ago that I study every after classes, so it's in the afternoon. So, when I'm studying, I occasionally have breaks in between, because if I study for a long time, I get drained easily. So, what I do in my breaks is that I use my phone, or I'll take a power nap of 15 to 30 minutes so that my brain will be fresh again to study. So sometimes I study for 1 hour more or less depending on my brain's cooperation and capacity to learn at that moment. So if I think I can't focus now, then I'll just sleep first, then study later. But of course, you need to follow what you made for your schedule plan for that day so that you don't have any backlogs. You can also search for this Pomodoro technique, which I think is more or less the same with what I do when I study. Tip number 3. Go out with friends. We need to balance our time well, not just in studying but also in our social life to keep us sane, diba? Especially that board examination has a lot of things to study. So for me, I just want to share that we had karaoke nights, we eat out a lot with my friends, but of course we do it if we don't have an upcoming MAC exam in the review center. Tip number 4. This is very important. Rest. Rest. Rest if you must. So again, for me personally, if I get tired or I'm feeling sleepy, I actually sleep even if I did not finish what I needed to study for that day. I'll just make bawi the next day, diba? Because if I don't sleep or take a rest, there's no point in studying kasi wala nang pumapasok sa isip ko kung drained na yung brain ko, diba? So I just take a nap or just sleep and continue what I studied the next day. Also, your brain will not work effectively if you don't sleep, right? Right. So it is very important that you take rest. Tip number 5, last but not the least, pray. Prayer truly works. I studied hard, but I prayed harder. I know for myself that I cannot study everything for the boards. I also cannot memorize everything, so I just hoped and prayed that what I studied will come out on the exam, and I prayed for knowledge, for wisdom, and strength to go on each day. Prayer keeps me going and gives me hope in achieving my goal, which is to get that 3-letter extension to my last name, diba? That is our goal. For us all, we'll just do our best and God will do the rest. So that's it for today's vlog. And again, my tips are know what to study, manage your time well, go out with friends, rest, and of course, pray. So that ends my vlog for today. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel if you enjoyed the video.